Sports Take. He's Tony Shields and Rob Ellis. We were in the midst of giving our Eagles grades out, and we will continue to do so. We ran through the offense, a couple players on defense. Let's pick it back up. Tone, you get first crack on this one. Jalen Carter. Eagles rookie pick.
Jalen Carter came out the gate bussing. And then obviously the whole defense kind of just slowed down in totality. He is the rookie of the group, and he also was the highest graded defender for the Philadelphia Eagles. Highest graded defender for the Philadelphia Eagles after the 2023 season, which says a lot for a rookie being graded as your best player or your most effective player. Got to give a lot of credit where credit is due. He's a rookie, so I'm definitely grading on the curve. I gotta give him an A-. A- is a rookie. You lead the team as far, according to PFF, the highest graded defender on your team. You were getting sacks. Let's look at the numbers real quick, before we get too far away from it. I mean,
and remember when you're looking, not you, but like when you're looking at D tackles, the numbers are going to look a lot different than edge rushers.
Exactly, D tackles. Look, let's put it this way: if you have a D tackle that's regularly getting double digit sacks, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, you get something.
Let's put it that way, right?
Yep.
But typically your average DT flirts around 4-5 sacks a year, maybe 6. That's kind of where they flirt around, just your average D tackle if they're good. Jalen Carter was ranked 3rd on the team in sacks. He has 6 sacks on the season, 33 total tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 2 forced fumbles and a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Played in 16 games. The dude was, and also on top of that, let's put it in perspective again. Jalen Carter, he didn't play the most snaps in 2023 in his rookie year. He was rotating. He was the rotator, whereas Jordan Davis and Fletcher Cox were the starters.
Yep.
Jalen Carter in his 2023 campaign, he played 563 total defensive snaps through 16 games played, and that accounts for 51% of the defensive snaps. So he was on the field half the time, and through that time, 6 sacks. Got the TFLs to match. The dude delivered, in my opinion, as a rookie. He delivered.
Yeah.
9 quarterback hits. I give him an A-.
I'm a B+, borderline A-. Let me put it to you this way, Tone. I feel great about this guy's future. I think he's going to be an absolute stud. I think he's going to learn a lot from this year and incorporate that into next year. I think he's hit maybe a little bit of a rookie wall, which is a little bit understandable. Certainly more understandable for him than it is Jordan Davis, who's in his 2nd year. But I really like this guy. I think he is going to be a guy who never has to come off the field in terms of the run fit or the passing game. He is just that good. He is going to be a guy that's going to occupy a lot of tacklers and make everybody else's life around him a lot easier. Whether it's linebackers, whether it's his fellow D tackles, whatever. I think the guy's a beast. Is he slowed down a little bit? Yeah, and that's what maybe hurts him a little bit in my eyes. And B+ might be a little harsh. He might be an A-, but I'm going to stay with the B+. I'm a big fan, a big fan of of Jalen Carter.
Yeah, I don't think B+ is totally all. I mean, look, I thought I was being generous. So, I mean, and you think you're being harsh. So, look, the bottom line is that tells you where that guy is, right? He had a very good rookie campaign, all things considered.
Yeah, you have to
very good rookie campaign.
Future's bright for sure.
Yes.
All right, let you get this one, Jordan Davis.
He gets a C+ for me. Gets a C+.
Mm-hmm.
He started off so hot, so well, and unfortunately, when it mattered most, he kind of fell off. He was so aggressive earlier on in the season, so dynamic, so athletic, was getting off the block, was getting sacks here and there, even though that's not really why you got him in there. But he's a guy that was effective, and after the bye week, just fell flat. Now, we'll give him credit. He was healthy. He was healthy for all 17 games, played all 17 games. Give him credit for that. In comparison to his rookie year, he He upped his total tackles to 45, where his rookie year was 18. He got you 2.5 sacks, and that's not even really why he's out there, but he got you 2.5 sacks, got you a forced fumble, got you a pass deflection. Just has to he has to be more effective for longer stints of the season.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure I'm getting all his stats out there because I don't want to shortchange him here. So on the season, 2 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hits, 45 total tackles, 2.5 sacks, 1 pass deflection, 1 forced fumble through 17 games played. On top of that, in 2023, through 17 games played, he accounted for 519 total defensive snaps,
Mm-hmm.
which accounts for 45% of the total defensive snaps that's available to him. Also played 139 additional snaps on special teams, which is 31% of the special team snaps available to him. In 2022, he only accounted for 224 defensive snaps through 13 games played, and that's 26% of the total snaps available to him. So he clearly has been on the field much more this season. You basically doubled his grass time this year, and he kind of hit a wall again.
Yeah.
So now we have 2 seasons to really compare it to, or we have 2 seasons to compare the next season to, right? We're going to say, okay, we saw what the rookie year looked like. We saw what the second season looked like. Okay, can you take your condition to another level? Can we get that snap count from 45% to about 55%?
Mm-hmm.
Can we get that 45 to 60 maybe? Who knows? It all depends on what Fletcher Cox's future is. But overall, my goal for him would be to get my defensive snap availability from 45% to 55%, at least for my 3rd season, and have my motor still run hot. I think that's his goal.
Yeah. Here's what I would
C+ for me. C+.
I have him at a C. I would say just look, man, and I'm not trying to be harsh when I say this, but you got to grow up, and it's time to start being a pro. If you're going to take that pro check, you got to act like a pro. And he's a good guy. I mean, if you ever talk to him, he's funny. He's a really lovable, kind of type. It's not that he's some bad dude off the field or any of that.
Has nothing to do with his character.
No, just got to get yourself in shape. And if you get yourself in shape, a lot of this stuff that we're talking about is going to go away, and you're going to be much more effective. You showed early in the year when you were in shape that you could all be effective in the pass game and the run game. That's the thing that surprised me the most about him, is how good he was in getting after the quarterback. So it's there. Don't waste your talent, man. Just if you can control this part of it.
And also, I don't think he doesn't care.
No, I don't either. I think he just probably needs some help to figure this out.
I don't think it's I don't think it's a care issue or a motivation issue.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He doesn't strike me as a guy that doesn't love the game. He even said coming into this year, he said, the difference between this year and last year for me right now is I feel more confident and I feel like I belong here.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like last year I had some imposter syndrome. Now I feel like I'm an NFL caliber defensive tackle.
Yeah.
And I need to continue to conduct myself as such. And hearing him speak like that, and I paraphrased a little bit there, but basically hearing him acknowledge where his rookie season went wrong and how this season is going to go differently for him and how it is going differently. I respect and I appreciate the level of self-awareness. Now he has to have the level of self-awareness to say, you know what? I need help with my nutrition. Right. I need to hire a nutritionist, someone to prepare my meals so I don't have to worry about that. So it can keep me in shape and keep my motor running high and my energy's high. So, those big guys, man, when you're that big, your job is rather simple. So you don't think too much about your diet that much. But I think, again, it's all about learning to be a pro. This guy's 23 years old.
Yeah.
When I was 23, let me make sure I got his age right. But
no, he's second year. He's got to be 22 or 23.
He's 23 exactly. Actually, his birthday is, I think, it's tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, his birthday's tomorrow. He'll be 24 tomorrow. Right. 24-year-old dude, young guy, man, still figuring it out, learning the NFL. He's in a good situation to learn. Being this Fletcher Cox there's no other way to describe it. So,
all right, well let's keep moving. Brandon Graham, I hate to say this, it's a D.
Yeah, he was a non-factor.
he hasn't given them anything. Now I know he doesn't play a lot of snaps, so it's a little bit unfair that he hasn't played a ton. And I will say this, Tone, he's a guy to really keep your eye on Monday.
Mm-hmm.
I think Brandon Graham may make a big play on Monday. Strip sack. We've seen it before. Something. I just keep your eye on Brandon Graham Monday. But if I'm telling you what I think happened through 17 games, it was minimal to little to no impact this season.
Yeah, through 17 games played where he was fully healthy. See, that's another thing too. I don't get why they held him back. It wasn't like he was dealing with a nagging injury.
That's the thing. They preserve too much. Dude, sometimes you got to let guys go. I know
it was so weird to me. He didn't have any nagging injuries that was plaguing him from last year to this year. It wasn't like he was gassed. Like
let him rip a little.
Yeah, it was weird how they preserved it. It was the weirdest thing in the world. But nonetheless, in 2023, through 17 games played, Brandon Graham played 395 total defensive snaps, which accounts for 34% of the total snaps that was available to him. Yeah. I feel like that could have been higher. I feel like he could have been in the 40 range, in the 40 percentile. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would have taken a lot of stress off of Josh Sweat. And I don't know why they didn't have the faith in Brandon Graham to be able to play more snaps. I mean, the dude plays with a level of emotion and intensity that you got to get him on the field, man. So I feel like I feel like he was mismanaged, mishandled in that regard. And that might fall on coaching, right? Sean Desai and those guys on a day-to-day coming up with their rotations. That may fall on them, you know? So Brandon Graham, you know, let's look at the numbers really. In 2023, he had, and remember, again, he played less than 35% of the defensive snaps. So I want to keep that in perspective for everybody. On defense, he accounted for 16 total tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 6 quarterback hits, 3 sacks, 1 pass deflection. Those numbers are pedestrian. Granted, 35 years old. They didn't put him on the field that much. If he would have got more time, maybe he gives you 5 sacks, maybe 6. I'm not going to go as far as a D. I'll give him a solid C because I'm trying to weigh all the circumstances into his grade, age, time on the field. You know, so I'll give him a C, borderline C minus.
Okay.
I'll roll with that.
All right.
Just trying to be fair to the guy. Like,
I know. I hate saying because I love. Look, what's not to love about that guy? All right, Fletcher Cox. Where are you going?
Listen, man. I don't know if it's possible to give a guy this age, this grade, but you know, me personally, I think Fletcher Cox was I think he was your best D. I feel like he was your most consistent D tackle all year. Played the most amount of snaps. I got to give Fletcher Cox like a B plus or A minus, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think Fletcher Cox.
I have him at an A minus.
Yeah, I think Fletcher Cox, and he played 15 games this year. He didn't play the last one, and he didn't play in. I can't remember what game that was. Nonetheless, though.
Yeah, I got you.
Nonetheless, he played in 15 games, 684 total defensive snaps through 15 games, which accounts for 66% of the total defensive snaps available to him. Through that time played, the dude was able to give you 33 total tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 17 quarterback hits, 5 sacks, 2 pass deflections, a forced fumble that resulted in a touchdown, a fumble recovery. I think Fletcher Cox has been like an A minus B plus, man. I'm flirting around there, man. I think that's where he's been. Again, a guy who's 33 years old, played the most snaps on your D line from the D tackle position.
Yeah, agreed.
Come on, man.
I go A minus, man. He's been really good. All right, let's go Slay. I'm going to give him a B. I don't think he was bad this year. I think he gets lumped into how bad Bradbury was and a lot of the other stuff. I think he's been fine, and I think he's been B worthy. Not great, not even very good, but he's been fine. I'm going to go B. How about you?
Darius Slay is an interesting case study because his season has been not spectacular, but he hasn't been terrible. But he's also been the best in a room of slouches.
Yeah.
So how much do you really weigh that? Let's think about it first. Let's just really try to put it in context again. 98%. I mean, he's a DB, so they play most of the snaps all the time anyway. But 98% of the snaps played that was available to him. 809 defensive snaps, 12 games played. So whenever he was available, he was always on the field. This is actually this is the lowest. This is a career low for him in games played. Career low. So
he's been pretty durable. Yeah.
Yeah. He typically in his career, he's always giving you 14 to 15 games minimum. Typically. Rookie year gave you 13 games, 2016 gave you 13 games, 2019 gave you 14. But for the most part, he's been flirting around 16, 15 games played. Last year was his healthiest. Well, no, I can't say that because the league changed. So nonetheless, though, Darius Slay, his PFF grade was a 68.4, which I think is the highest grade for the Philadelphia Eagles amongst the corners. That's fair. That's decent. That's not spectacular. It's not great. It's okay. I'll give Darius Slay a B minus. B minus.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, I go B. I mean, we're right in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
All right, the next one's pretty simple for me, and I'm only giving him a D because he basically showed up every day. But James Bradbury, this could be an F. I'm going to give him the respect of not giving him an F because he's out there battling, and maybe I'm a soft teacher now at this point, but that's where I'm at.
You said something that really saved him because I was going to give him an F. You said something that changed. You said something that shifted it a little bit. The fact of the matter is he showed up every day. He took accountability. He knew he was ass.
Yeah.
He knew he knew he sucked.
He owns it. He's owned it. Yep.
And he's owned it every week. He's been trying. He's been trying really hard. But my God, has he been barbecue chicken for the rest of the NFL? Is there a such thing as like a D minus? Is that a thing?
Yeah.
Give him a D minus or something. Like, let's give him a D.
Yeah.
Screw it. I'll give him a D.
Yeah, I think it's crazy when you're giving somebody a D and you're being kind, but I think
I'm being kind as hell. I was gonna give him an F.
Dude he is, yeah.
Eagles fans, I was gonna give him an F.
Yep.
I was gonna give him an F, but he deserves a D grade because he was available every week and he took accountability.
I'm not even grading here. Avonte Maddox because he missed the whole year. So let's just basically. So I'm going to give him an incomplete. Let's go to the safeties.
Well, I'll grade him on this then. In terms of health and availability, he gets a D.
Maddox.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can't stay on the field. It's the same thing we talked about with
2 years in a row.
With Dallas Goedert. Yeah.
Yeah, and crucial years at that when they really needed you. He gets if I'm grading him on health alone, he gets a D.
All right. So let's jump over to I'm going to give Reed Blankenship a C+. He is still a young dude learning, and I think there's potential for him. He's not there yet, but I'll go C+ for him. How about you?
Reed is interesting because he's been their highest graded defensive back all season. PFF, according to PFF, he has a 73.4 player grade overall. Young guy, undrafted, came in with no real expectations, and he's found a way to make an impact in certain moments. Reed Blankenship, it's probably easy to forget, but he has 3 interceptions on the season. What else? The only thing that really bothers me about him really is the health part, the health and the limited athleticism. Okay, so this year he had 3 INTs, 113 total tackles, What else? Fumble recovery, 2 tackles for loss, the quarterback hit. He was okay this year. He was solid, but he couldn't stay healthy long enough on the year for you to really get a strong sense for him. Believe it or not, though, he only this is the weird part about Reed Blankenship. He only missed 2 games technically.
That's
But
right.
doesn't it
He had
feel
to come out of a couple. Yeah.
yeah, doesn't it feel like more than that though? But like you said, he had to come out in some games and go back in or whatever. So 15 games played. I guess when you look at the stat sheet, he's healthy for the most part. I like him. Still very raw. Has to find a way to improve that athleticism, to improve that flexibility and that range. You know, when defending the ball in the air as a safety. But overall, I like where he's going, all things considered, because he was an undrafted guy. I like the trajectory of his career.
All right, I'm going to skip the linebackers just for time purposes. Let's go to Sean Desai. How would you grade what we saw?
Yeah, I mean, no need to talk about the linebackers. That's pretty much a D group anyway.
Yes.
So, Sean Desai, man, you lost your job. Got to give him.
See, he gets a C from me.
I give him a C- because I feel like he was burned a little bit towards the back end.
He was, but he also did a pretty decent job against the likes of the Dolphins and the Chiefs and some other teams that do have offenses. And
yeah, Rams, the second half. Yeah.
And I think what we've seen is what's played out here is, and we'll get to Patricia in a second, but like he was clearly an upgrade from what they did. And I think he was a little bit wrong. I don't think he did great. That's why it's a C. But I don't think he was as bad as getting basically canned either. So I'm going to go C. I wouldn't want him back. Tone, let me be clear about that.
Of course not. Yeah, of course not. Yeah.
You know, I think he's better. Go be an assistant somewhere, not a coordinator. But I didn't think he was. I don't think he's bad as the guy who took it over.
And also, he's in a situation where the front office is dictating what kind of defense you should be playing. So who knows what his real skill set is, right? Who knows what he really wants to do? That's not being allowed. So because of the situation, the circumstances, what he has shown on the positive side, he gets a C- from me.
Yeah,
C-, and it's flirting with a D+, but he gets a C-.
Real quick, Nick today, this playing coy here, asked if we're going to see Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, or Devontae Smith at practice. Said we'll see. Like, is there really a competitive advantage to just saying whether they're going to practice or not in an hour or so? I don't know, but whatever. All right, Matt Patricia.
Matt Patricia gets a D. He gets a D because
he gets an F from me.
I'm gonna tell you why. He gets a D because he was put in an unenviable situation. You were tasked with trying to turn around a defense in week 15 that had no hope to begin with, and it's just bad for both sides, right? He's trying to deploy some terminology and some things to the players. It's a hard pivot for them. You know, he's trying to get familiar with his personnel and what they can and can't do. Hard pivot for him. You know, I give him a D because it's a situation that nobody is benefiting from.
Okay.
On both sides, and I'm not saying he's doing great at what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to look at it from a fair perspective of it's hard to gauge a guy when you just throw him in there and say, "Hey, fix this."
Yep. Yeah, there's some truth to that for sure.
Yes. So I give him a D.
Okay. Brian Johnson. I'm going to go C+. If you look at the offensive numbers in totality, they're not bad in terms of scoring and rushing and passing. They're okay. But I also know what I saw the last 6 weeks and the way it's trending, and it's trending the wrong way. I also know that the quarterback has taken a step back, and he wears some of that. I also take into account that he's hamstrung by the scheme that he has to deal with, that's put together, you know, by Nick Sirianni. So I'm gonna go C+ for him. How about you?
I agree. C+ is pretty much what I was thinking as well. He hasn't done anything to really impress me throughout the season. He had moments where I was like, "Oh, creative drive. Oh, okay, all right, strong half." But then I asked myself, is that player based or is that more so based on him? I don't know. So he hasn't impressed me not one bit all season. You said something interesting too, that how much is he hamstrung by what he's being asked to do with the game planning and so on and so forth. Yeah, C+ for me, man. I'm not even gonna overthink it. C+.
Okay. Let's go Nick Sirianni. I'm gonna go C+. I know people want blood, but they did win 11 games.
I give him a C.
Okay.
I'll give him a C. And he largely takes the hit for the collapse, for this team not buying into your message anymore, for the large part of your skill set now becoming obsolete at this point in the season. For him lacking innovation and ingenuity with this game plan and scheme and the offensive identity in totality.
Yeah.
For the regression of the quarterback. Yeah, he gets a C for me. He gets a solid C.
Okay. I don't like, again, where this has trended, and I don't like the fact that it appears, at least, that he has kind of lost some people in that locker room. I didn't like the way they didn't show up in that last game. So that hurts.
When there was something still clear to fight. That's the thing. There was something to fight for in the past few weeks.
Yeah.
They could have won the division. There was clearly something to fight for. You couldn't get those guys motivated for that. That's an indictment on him.
It's bad. It's bad.
When it's clear. You have something that helps you to fight for. It's not like you guys were out of the playoffs and nothing to fight for. You got to find a way to keep the guys engaged. It's not like Jonathan Gannon. How did Gannon and how did Dayball motivate his team to deliver when they have nothing to fight for, but you can't, when you have everything to fight for?
Yeah.
That's an indictment on him. And he has to carry. That's a large impact, a large drilling point on his grade.
Yeah. Yep, great point. All right, last one, and then we'll get a timeout and we'll dig into all of our NFL stuff. Howie Roseman.
Ooh. Howie Roseman gets a C. He gets a C. He gets a C for me for this season. Because mainly for the defensive side of the ball. He neglected the linebacker position again.
Yep.
A lot of his draft picks this season, I mean, granted, there's only so much you could do when you're on a team with a lot of veterans like this, but only one of your draft picks really made significant impact this season. I just feel like I didn't like the handling of the show on the side thing. I don't like this front office impact on what happens on the football field, and we're seeing it. Overall, just he gets a large hit for miscalculating a few decisions he's made with free agency last offseason, the linebacker room, the DB room. Yes, at the time, the James Bradbury deal looked like something that made sense, but now clearly it didn't. So it was a miscalculation by him. He has to wear it. He gets a C from me.
All right, I go C+. And I agree with a lot of what you said. I hate the fact that they sort of reverted back to ignoring the linebacker. I don't like that. Carter was really good, but Nolan Smith essentially gave him nothing. Steen couldn't get off the bench, which is fine. That means there weren't injuries, so I can't kill him for that.
Yeah.
That was a
Steen started one game, and that was against the Cowboys.
And that's a future pick, more than anything else. So that's good. That means you stay pretty healthy on the O-line. Yeah, I mean, look, this is still a team that is in the playoffs. It's still a team that won 11 games, despite how it's looked at the end. So I can't really go much lower than that, for him. But I think this is another off-season tone of reassessment for him, where he's really got to look at the way things are done, being done. And yes, it may have been successful last year, but it caught up to you this year, and you need to change your ways a little bit and adapt or die. We know that that's the world that we live in, and there's some adapting that needs to be done for the Philadelphia Eagles.
I couldn't agree more.
Yep. All right, let's get one in, and let's come back and we'll talk some NFL. We'll revisit the Belichick thing. He had his press conference a little bit earlier, parting ways with the Patriots, excuse me. but we'll get into a bunch of other things, including previewing Saturday's games, which are the Browns, Texans, and the Dolphins and the Chiefs. We'll get into all those kind of things when we come back, so don't go anywhere. Tone DeShields, Rob Ellis, Sports Take, JAKIB Sports YouTube Network. I'm going to tell you right now about Flynn Tree Services. Yes, they are an insured, licensed Pennsylvania tree services company that will trim or remove any unwanted trees off of your property. They offer cost-effective solutions to any tree problem that you may face, and they are experts at trimming all types of trees, and they serve southeastern Pennsylvania, South Jersey, and northern Delaware. Flynn Tree Services specializes in tree removal, stump grinding, as well as tree pruning. You can go to their Facebook or Instagram page for more information or a sampling of their work. Give Flynn Tree Services a call at 610-850-28